They say the camera adds 10 pounds to your weight, to which I say, stop eating so many cameras. Speaking of cameras, we can't get away from them with eBay because we're always having to take pictures of things that we sell or things that we want to sell now. It's best to take more pictures than fewer pictures. Why? It's because our buyers cannot touch and feel and analyze what we're selling like they could if we had a store. So we have to give them a visual way to do that. We have to show all angles. We have to show close-ups. We have to show further out pictures. We have to make the buyer, in the buyer's mind, see our items as if they're right there looking at them. eBay rewards listings that have more pictures than fewer pictures. We know this for a fact. I won't go into how, but I can prove it. And eBay rewards sellers who take more pictures, all things being equal, over those sellers who take fewer pictures. So always keep that in mind. You can take up to 24. Now, I'm not saying take 24 pictures for everything that you sell. I don't, but I take a lot of pictures. And even if it's something as simple as a used valuable stamp from 1910, there's just two sides, right? I take a picture of the front, I turn it over, I take a picture of the back. I take a close-up, I take a close-up of each side. I then take a picture of the edge of the stamp, up to all four edges possibly. I certainly take a picture of the perforations because stamp collectors know which stamp that you have sometimes only by the number of perforations, because the same stamp may have been issued in multiple years and they know from the number of perforations which one that is. So you can get 12, 15 pictures out of one stamp if you're really diligent. You certainly should get at least 8. I mean, that's just a minimum. But you need to go the extra mile. You need to do more than just take pictures of your items. I believe if you want to get top dollar, how do you get top dollar? You get higher in the search engine. What happens if you get higher in the search engine? More people see it whenever they search for something that your items might supply. But the better your hero picture is, the better that first picture is, and I've told you before what the hero picture is, it's that first picture. The better it is, and the more, in a way, the more unique it is, the more attention, the more eye candy your picture will get in a long list of search results. Let me show you one here. This is a picture. You need to kind of scroll up. This is a picture. This is a Bible, a Holman Bible, new in a slip case. This is a cardboard case around it. And notice it's taken at an angle. This shows kind of a 3D effect. Now, it's not a 3D picture, it kind of shows a 3D effect. This is one of mine in one of the accounts that I sell in, and there's no way I would take a direct on picture for that hero picture. Now, let me scroll through and see. I probably took a direct one later. Let's go down and look at all these. I guess I didn't even take one. Here's a picture of the back. Most people will take a picture like this of the front of this item, of this Bible. Or any other picture that they're selling. Not me. I always take pictures at an angle like this. In a list, whenever someone searches for Holman Bible, HCSC, red letter, new, whenever my picture appears my item appears in a long list of search results, the buyers looking for that are going to see straight on square rectangle. I'll just say square though. Straight on square picture by seller 1, straight on square picture by seller 2, straight on square picture by seller 3, and then they're going to see mine, which kind of looks 3D and it grabs their eye. So not only does my white background help me get higher in the search results, not only does my white background get more clicks, as I've explained to you before, but my 3D effect of pictures on boring items such as a book, okay? Not only do I do the white background for my hero picture, but I try to 3D it, I try to show it at an angle. And you should too, because in a long list of square straight-on search results, mine pops and others don't. Mine is the eye candy that a buyer will look at. Keep this in mind as you're taking your hero picture, your first picture. I want you to start thinking about your first picture and that it will always appear in a long list of search results of people, eBay sellers, who don't have much of an imagination. I want you to consider having an imagination. If you have a straight-on item like this old vintage mid-century modern bottle opener, they used to use these to open cans and bottles of pop and stuff. Wooden handle, a metal stainless steel head like this, and it's a straight on up and down picture. Almost every seller that sells these is going to take a picture just like this. You will be able to zoom in a little bit more and get a little more detail of this identical opener if you take it at an angle such as I did here. I can get a little closer in. My buyers will see a little more detail. Now this is of the same opener. It's got some wear that I described, but physically it's structurally perfect. The metal tip that goes into the can when you're opening a can is as sharp as ever. But you can see a little bit more by the fact that I put it at an angle. Now, eBay's pictures don't show this very well. You would think, well, I could have done it more by getting this point closer to this corner and this in closer to that corner, but this is not the square that the picture appears in. Let me see if I can get eBay to show us that square, and I really can't. I thought it was doing it a while ago. No. Anyway, but the square that it appears in is its edges are right here. So I don't have from here to here. I have from about here to about here to show this diagonally in my square photograph, and that's what I did. So instead of a straight on that everyone else is going to do, I always do longer, like a golf club. I always do them at an angle. From corner to corner, I can get a little more detail. You should too. Plus, this is going to stand out as opposed to all these other sellers that are just going to do a straight-on picture. Just like the book. Whenever you do a 3D-like picture image at an angle, whenever you do your long items like golf clubs or anything like this, you're going to get more detail and your buyers will be able to see closer up, the entire item closer up. You will later zoom in as I've done and show real close-ups, but your buyer gets a truer close-up of the first picture of the entire image this way whenever you shoot it at an angle, at a diagonal, and that's what you should do. There are other little things to consider. What if you're selling an old 1970s clock radio with a red LED? Well, this is the first picture most people are going to take. Now, it would be nice to show that red LED, but the problem is you can't really get all this detail very well with some of these clock radios. If you were to take a picture of the clock radio and you really want that red LED, those numbers to show right here, the time, then you kind of have to take it in the dark. That red does not pop unless it's in the dark, and you have to take it in the dark. But then you don't get nice. This is a lousy first picture, hero picture, because you don't have any other detail. It's not light enough. And if I had left all the lights on to show you this, you would barely be able to see the red LED. Therefore, what you could do, and I think you should just consider this if you have the ability, and obviously the price of the item determines whether you want to do this. If this is a $18 radio, AM/FM clock radio, it's probably not worth doing this unless you're really good at this and you can do it in half a minute. And a lot of people can. If you have the editing ability and you know how to manipulate Paint or any other any other program like Photoshop, and you can do this really quickly, great. Or Canva, do it. And what you will want to do is you will want to take that red LED only, just that image right there, and superimpose it on this image fully lit. And that will allow you to show all the details of your item and that nice LED on the fully lit, nice detail item. I don't know why I didn't do this for you here. I just didn't complete this circle and actually do this and show you what it looks like. But it looks like this picture, and it's got the LED. That's what it will do. Now, I haven't listed this yet, but I'm going to. And so I'm going to make sure and do that with the LED. If it's worth it. I don't know how much this clock radio sells for. If it only sells for $18, I probably won't mess with it. I'll probably just show this photo, and then I will certainly put this maybe as the second picture to show them, yeah, the LED works. Here's one that I recently did that was definitely worth the extra trouble. Now, you need to be careful and only show in a picture, one watched in the last 24 hours. That's really interesting because I just listed this thing like yesterday and it's already got a watcher. But anyway, That red thing is not in my picture. That's an eBay message. This is just a book. It's an old book that kind of it's a satire book on World War II Germany and the things that they did. And so it's very famous in the world of independent comic book collectors. And inside this, the author, Art Spiegelman, he actually drew a full-page original art. This appears nowhere else in no other. This is not printed in any book. This was drawn for his friend Del Crane, and it's inside this book. It's an original piece of art, and it looks like this, just inside the front cover, the first end page. We call these end pages. The first end page, he drew this for his friend. Now, I didn't want, this book will sell for about $11 to $20, depending on the condition. And this is pretty much brand new, mint condition, like new mint condition. And notice, even here, I showed it at an angle. I do not want to show this book straight on. I don't want to show any book straight on. But I did this, and this is a little bit weird for an eBay first picture, but I think it deserves it for this. This artwork should make this $20 at most book worth up to $300. It's a one-of-a-kind. I don't know what it's going to sell for. I may have to end up taking $195 for it, $100 less than this, because I don't really know this market. This has never been sold before in the history of the universe. It's a one-of-a-kind. Maybe I'm asking too little, and I should have asked $595. I don't know. But it's been for sale for over 24 hours and hasn't sold yet right at $300, so I'm probably a little bit high, and that's fine with me. But in the first picture, I wanted to grab the reader's attention and say, look, there's more here. So I took 2 pictures. Now, a lot of you won't have the, paint, art, digital photo room, Photoshop expertise to do this. I understand. You can only do what you can do, and that's fine. But if you're able to go the extra mile, I am not showing anything more than I'm selling. I mean, this is all for sale except the red arrow, but that's just letting the potential buyer know that this is part of this deal. It's inside this book. Kind of just, I didn't want to put any text here because eBay doesn't want any text added to a picture. So I couldn't say artwork inside the book right here, but I wanted to, I'm tempted to, but I'm also never tempted to violate eBay's picture rule, so I don't want to do that. So I went the extra mile. I thought a $300 item, maybe $200 item before it sells. I think that's worth the time for me to show there's something special about this book so that anybody that searches for this thing and just gets book cover after book cover after, they're going to get to mine and say, that's interesting. Wait, why is this guy asking $295? There's something going on here. They are going to click and they're going to see that there is an original drawing by the artist, by the creator of this book, by Art Spiegelman, very famous book, to Dale. It happens to be Del Crane. Del Crane was a DC Comics editor, famous guy. He worked with Art Spiegelman a lot on a lot of arts projects. And Del Crane passed away a few years ago, and I'm actually selling Del Crane's stuff. I'm helping to sell his estate for his widow, who actually lives here in the same town that I live in. And this is one of the more special items that I have acquired to sell for her, and that's what I'm doing. And it definitely was worth this extra time to make that first picture, that hero picture, a little bit extra, because this is a one-of-a-kind piece of art. By far, this one-of-a-kind artwork by Art Spiegelman is worth far more than the first edition mint condition of this book. This book is not worth really anything, even though it's a first printing, first edition. I will eventually show you how to know if it's a first printing, first edition. It doesn't always say, but it's first cover, near mint, really mint condition. The only thing that's ever happened to it is the artist drew this picture, and that's pretty cool. No collector on earth is going to mind that this book has been opened by the artist and author of this book. No book collector on earth is going to mind that he opened it all the way and drew this picture. It's a big drawing card, and I really wanted to point that out. In the future going forth, I want you to consider things like this and consider, should your first picture, does the item's value deserve a little extra attention? At the least, show it at an angle so that your item stands apart from the crowd. Stop the tape. Stop the tape. Does anybody use tape anymore? Anyway, I wanted to show you one more, but I forgot to I left this example out. This is one that I did a long time ago. I had to find it under WorthPoint because it's been even Terapeak couldn't find it because I sold it so long ago. But it was a glow-in-the-dark Batman mug, and it's one of these things that probably, it wasn't worth doing this. I forget what it sold for, something like $20. But it glows in the dark, and it's pretty cool if you like Batman. By the way, WorthPoint always repeats the title, but uppercases every letter. Never uppercase letters in your title, except for the first word in each, except for the first letter in each word. Then you want to uppercase that. But this is not from me uppercasing this title. It's that important that you know I would never do this, and neither should you. But what we're focusing on here is the picture. This is what the mug looks like, just in the, a nice full-on picture. This is what the mug looks like. But in the dark, let me show you what it looks like. Boom, 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 boom. Lot of pictures here, right? A lot of pictures for just a coffee mug that's only got one picture and one bottom. Yeah, a lot of pictures. And this is when I didn't take as many as I do now because eBay had a limit of 12 pictures per item, and I would probably average about 10 pictures per item. Now that eBay has 24 pictures per item, I probably average 18, 19 pictures per item, because I just like to make a lot of money. It's just something that I do. Anyway, this is what it looks like in the dark. That mug side turns green. It's really cool. But you can't take a picture of the mug in the dark. So what I did is I took a picture of the glow-in-the-dark portion, the green portion, and then I turned on the light, or had my wife turn it on, and I kept my camera right there, and then I took a picture of the mug, and then I superimposed it with probably Paint, Microsoft's cheap little paint program. I superimposed the glow-in-the-dark emblem over the mug, and it didn't turn out wonderfully, but I think it's still effective. This was the picture. Yes, there was a white background. You can see the square where I did a lousy job at superimposing the glow-in-the-dark portion with the normal picture portion, with what it looks like in the light. But this was still more important than worrying. I'm not an art expert, okay? I do some drawing and stuff, but I didn't take a lot of time to do this. I probably should have done a little bit better now that I'm showing you such an image that's such a close-up. But it's still, that's not the point. The point is my buyers are seeing everyone else doing this. Well, really more like doing this without a white background with junk in the back, which I wouldn't even really like that junk in the back. But for like the last picture, it's not as critical, but I would probably not do that now. Probably I just didn't notice it at the time because I didn't even really do it then. Wasn't even the last picture, but this is probably the picture most buyers would take, or they would take a glow-in-the-dark picture, but you couldn't see anything else. And so how is the buyer supposed to know, what is this? Is this a decal? Is it a sign? It's a mug? This doesn't look like a mug. Well, my buyers know that it's a glow-in-the-dark mug. They don't really know that this is from the glow-in-the-dark, but I do say early in the title, people looking for this mug do enter Batman mug, glow-in-the-dark. They do enter those key words, so they're looking for this. But they're only going to see an actual mug with the really cool non-white glow-in-the-dark image on my listing. My listing is really going to stand out. It's a lot like doing the 3D effect on books that you sell, versus straight on the way most normal people will do it, and that means you should stand apart from the crowd. Make sure that that picture in search results grabbed. Make sure you give your potential buyers eye candy where their eyes go, what's that? That's different from all the rest, and they will click on your picture more whenever you do that, and you're going to sell more, all things being equal.